By Blood and Blade. Written by Augustine. Narrated by Jane Maree and Magnus Carlssen.
Chapter 1. Inara. The wife market of Taletha was open for business, and I was up for sale. I smoothed my trembling hands across my white satin kaftan as the short sleeves of the gown chafed against my upper arms. I stood on my block with 29 other women, straight-backed, hands at our sides, eyes gazing ahead at nothing. We appeared like beautiful marble statues of our goddess Nikar. If only we had the power she possessed. The large domed ceiling kept it pleasantly cool in the large dimly lit room. There were no windows to let in a cooling breeze or fresh air. There were only 3 doors. One let prospective buyers in, one allowed the men to take their brides out, and one led to our living quarters. It was the first door we all faced at the moment, although I wanted to escape out of the 3rd door, to curl up into the blessed nothingness of sleep. It took all my strength to remain serene and poised, as a wife ought to be, but inside of me raged a deep-rooted fury. No one deserved this, least of all me. I had been plucked from my home and shoved here for a couple 100 gold coins. Now we all stood, primped and pressed and molded into fake versions of perfection. We were paraded for men to gawk at and buy without even the slightest agreement from us. I was being manipulated and controlled once more. None of this showed on my face. No, I stood with my shoulders back and head held high as another nobleman strolled by. He was dressed in the style of all young Talethans, with an embroidered vest of black covering his red kurta, flowing salwar cuffed at the ankle, and head bare of any hat. His tan skin and thick black hair displayed his heritage as perfectly Talethan, unlike my own blonde hair and blue-green eyes. The bells on the tips of his pointed shoes rang through the warehouse with every step, curling the nerves in my stomach tauter with each jingle. He reached my block and glanced me over from the top of my head to the tips of my toes. Being first was the worst sort of punishment. It meant I had been here the longest, rejected over and over again. He stepped up on the block and stretched out his hand, fingering a strand of my blonde hair before the back of his hand caressed my jaw and then my lips. It took a staggering amount of self-control to not bite his wandering fingers, but I could see my owner, Omar, out of the corner of my eye, and so I refrained. I regretted my restraint almost.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?